Welcome to Sreenath. Today we are discussing about the cell structure and the function, that is the 8th chapter of the 8th class biology, that is CBSE syllabus. So basically we will be going through the overview of the chapter in the first session, and in the second session we will be discussing about each and every topic in detail, and in the third session we will be giving the summary of each and every topic in detail. So basically we are going through overview of all the topics within the which are related with the cell. So basically it's about the cell, where we are discussing that each and every organism which is basically living as a living being on the surface of the earth is basically consisting of a basic fundamental units called as cells. Cells are the one which are basically making the structure and functional unit of a organism. So basically the function of the organism and the structural appearance of the organism is basically because of the because of the cells. Cells are the one which are basically making the structure and functional unit of a organism. And coming to the discovery, basically the discovery is the discovery of the cell is done by means of Robert Hooke. So whatever the Robert Hooke is the person who is scientist who is behind the discovery of the microscope, and he is the first person to observe the microscopic analysis of the cork, whatever the cells are there, the cork cells are there of the bark of the tree. He has observed, he has took the thin section of these cells under the microscopy, and he has observed the microscopy, which is basically giving the boundaries, which is basically giving the cells or the hollow cavities or the empty cavities, which are basically consisting of appearance of the cell wall, which is making the boundary of the cell. So basically it's about the boundary of the cells which are covering the empty gaps or empty cavities are basically covered by means of these boundaries, and these are the boundaries which are making up the which are basically called as cells. Okay, these cells are nothing but which are having the empty cavities which are covered by the boundary of the cells. And coming to basically the cells. So basically what is about discussion of the cells? Cells are the one which are basically which are nothing but called as basic structural unit of an organism. The basic structural unit of a living organism is nothing but the cells. So basically the cells are the one which are making the structural unit of the cell of a living organism. So basically the structural maintenance of the cell of the organism and also functional maintenance of the organism is maintained by the maintained by the cells, which are the basic structural unit of a living organisms. So in here we can imagine the appearance of the animal peel cells. Whatever the animal peel cells, they are very regular in size and also shape, and their appearance has been comparable with that of the brick wall. So the appearance of the brick wall and also appearance of the onion peel cells are the one where we can show the clarity. So whatever the bricks we are observing in the wall, or basically they are equivalent to the cells, and the entire wall is equivalent to the tissue where the cells are residing. So basically in third one we can say that in the third topic we will be discussing about the organisms are showing different varieties of cells which differ in terms of shape, size and the number. So whatever the cell number is there, the cell number, the cell size and the cell shape. The cell number, cell size and the cell shapes are varying according to the different tissue within an organism. And coming to the number of cells, so the number of cells, when you are seeing the cells, the number of cells in case of multicellular organism, if the organism is made up of multicellular, that is many cells are joined together in coordinated manner, they are called as multicellular organism. So basically it can be a human being or it can be an elephant. So basically they are the multicellular organism or the one which are carrying the multicellular units. And coming to the single cell, if the cells are having the single cell, so then they are called as unicellular, that is the singular form of the cells. Basically all the life process like excretion, respiration, reproduction, growth and everything is appearing in one particular cell, they are called as single cell. So basically these single cell are nothing but called as unicellular, where all the life process are taking place within the cell. For example, the amoeba and the paramecium, or the unicellular organism where all the life process will be taking place within a cell, that is a single cell. And here in the B, the one of the, when you are discussing about the shape of the cell, the shape of the cell is nothing but the cells in which shape they are basically present. For example, if you are seeing the white blood cells in the human beings, a single cell is nothing but the single cell which is showing the shape of the cell. It can be the spherical one, or okay, it can be spherical one, and it is having the nature of independent existence. Whereas in case of the cells which are showing the lower organism, for example, if you are looking at the pseudopodia is the one which is basically appearing as a protruding structure in terms of shape of the cells. So in terms of shape of the cells, basically it's about it is very diverse, and also they are showing variety of shapes of the cells. So basically, if you are seeing whatever the red blood cells, they are spherical red blood cells which are appearing in the spherical forms, and apart from this are the spindle means very long and elongated muscular cells are the one which are shown here, and apart from this the nerve cells are the one which are long and branched kind of cells. So these are the different cells which are basically, they are categorized based on the function. So the function of the cell is nothing but it is because the function of the cell is mostly related with the shape of the cells. So coming to the size of the cells, basically the cells will be ranging from very smaller in size to a very larger in size. For example, the smallest cell is 0.1 to 0.5 bacteria, that is a micrometer, which is in case of bacteria, whereas the largest cell is the one which is having the length and the breadth of 170 mm to 130 mm. This is basically the egg of the ostrich. So basically here the size of the cell is ranging from, okay, they are ranging from a smaller size, okay, the smaller size, that is the size which is nothing but the bacterial cell, to a larger cells, okay, which are the larger cells which are basically the ostrich. Okay, the ostrich are the cells which are larger in size when compared to the cells which are smaller in size, that is the bacteria. So they are very much varied in case of size of the cells. So coming to the size, cell structure and the function. Coming to the cell structure and function, basically here we can say that the cells are the one which are fundamentally making up the group of cells, are basically they are making up the tissue. So the structure, the tissue which we are seeing here, the tissue is nothing but it is made up of cells. So the cells are the group of cells which are showing the similarity in the structure and also similarity in the structural appearance and also the function. They are grouped together to form a single unit called as tissue. The tissue is the one which is basically maintaining, and they are consisting of similar cells which are performing the similar kind of function. Apart from this tissue, the tissue are joined together to form the organs, and these organs are finally clubbed together. Different organs are clubbed together to form the organ systems. Okay, these organ systems are basically clubbed together to form the living system, nothing but the organisms. So the living systems are nothing but the organisms which are joined together, which is a cumulative of the organ system, and the organ system is the cumulative of the organs, and the organs are made up of tissue, and tissues are made up of the cells. Finally, the cells are the inorganic elements, whatever the simple inorganic elements which are there. The simple inorganic elements are the one which are basically making up the cells. This is about the cell structure and the function. And coming to the different parts of the cell, basically the different parts of the cell is the first one is the cell membrane. So different parts of the cell is nothing but the cell membrane. Okay, it's about the cell membrane. Next one is the cytoplasm, and third one is the cell wall. Okay, it is basically present in the plant and not in animal cell. And apart from this, we can go with the cytoplasm and the nucleus. So apart from this, there is a cytoplasm and nucleus, and there is last one is the cell organelles. So basically when you are looking at the cellular different parts of the cell, that is the cellular parts, it's about the cell membrane, it's about the cytoplasm, cell wall, that is the plant cell, and coming to cytoplasm, nucleus, okay, nucleus, and also the cell organelle. So basically it's about the 5 elements which we will be discussing. One is the cell membrane, another one is the cytoplasm, and third one is the cell wall that is present basically in the plant, and next one is the nucleus, and the final one are the cell organelles. So after the discussing each and everything which will be dealt in the detail about each and topics, now we will be discussing about the comparison of the plant cell and animal cell. So basically we are here in this particular topic, we will be discussing the plant cell, how it is different from the animal cell. So what make the animal cells very soft and tender, and what make the plant cells very strong and very strong and very strength in nature when compared to the animal cell. So till now what we discuss is the overview of the chapter, and basically this chapter, which is the 8th chapter of the 8th class CBSE, where we are delting or we are discussing about the overview of the 8th chapter, that is basically the cell, the structural functional unit of a living organism. Now we are discussing each and every factor of the cell. So it's when we are discussing about the introduction, basically the introduction is the part where we will be discussing about how the cells, how the organisms or different organisms are varying from each other, from a tree, from a plant, and also from a unicellular, the microscopic microorganism. So what is the difference between different kind of organism which are appearing on the face of the earth? So here after this we will be discussing about the discovery of the cell. So the person who is behind this discovery of the cells, that is the basic structure and functional unit of an organism, the person who is behind this discovery of the cell is the person, that is the Robert Hooke. So Robert Hooke is the person who is trying to observe the plant bark, that is the cork cells of the plant, under the microscopy. He has prepared the thin slide or thin section of this bark, and he is trying to observe under the microscopy. So whatever the observation he has done under the microscopy, this is the observation which we can see under the microscopy. So he is observing the empty spaces which are surrounded by a boundary of walls, and this he named as a cell. So why? Because he is describing them as an empty spaces. Okay, they are empty space which are covered by means of a boundary. So they are the empty space which are covered by a boundary, and this kind of appearances of the empty space with a boundary is nothing but called as cells. So he has distinguished them as in little rooms which are arranged from each other. So basically whatever we are seeing, the dark spaces are nothing but the empty spaces, and the white one or the one which are making the boundary of that empty spaces. So he has named them as a cell. So coming to what is cell, basically the cells are the one which are basic unit, okay, the basic structural unit. The basic structural unit of cell is nothing but they are making the structural, okay, it's nothing but they are making the structural performance and also functional one. Okay, what is the basically the cell is the one which is making the basic structural unit of the living organism. So it is the basic thing which is preparing the structure of the organism, and also it is the one which is performing the function of the organism. So the basic structural unit of an organism is nothing but the cell. So the cells are the one which will be having difference in shape, size, and also in terms of appearances. So basically when you are seeing the cells are the one which are showing the differences in terms of structures and also differences in terms of function. So it's a diversity in terms of structure and the function. third topic we will be discussing about the organism which are showing the difference in the cell number, difference in the shape and difference in the size. So coming to the basically, if you are seeing basically the cells or the cells, if the cells are appearing in multiple number, they are basically that they are the multicellular. Okay, they are appearing in the multiple number. If they are unicellular, okay, if they are single, they are called as unicellular, and if they are appearing in a multiple number, they are called as multicellular. So in case of number of cells, we are trying to discuss that when we are taking the number of cells as a categorization, when you are discussing about the cells, basically the organisms, there are some organisms which are showing multiple cells which are coordinating each other. So this is about the multicellular organisms are the one which are coordinating with each other. There is a coordination between each other of multiple cells in different ranges. So it's about the multicellular organism. But coming to unicellular organism, these are the cells which are basically showing the they are basically which are showing the all the life process which are taking place within a single cell is called as unicellular organism. So the unicellular organisms are the one which are single cell, where the life process are taking place within the single cell. They are the unicellular organism. So example, the amoeba and the paramecium are the one where all the life process, okay, where all the life process which are taking place in one cell, okay, all the life process which are taking place within the one cell. So these cells are the one which are showing the unicellular nature. So example, paramecium and the amoeba. So all the life process means the growth, okay, the growth and the reproduction and digestion and excretion. Okay, all these life process are taking place in single cell, that is they are called a unicellular organism. But coming to multicellular organism, basically the multicellular organism is the one basically all the life process which are taking place, okay, the all life process which are taking place, they are not taking place within a single cell. So they are taking in a group of cell. Okay, they are taking place within a group of cells, that is different tissues of the cell. So whatever the group of cells which are there, the different tissues of the cells and different group of cells which are basically all the life process are taking place in the different cells of the organism or different group of cells of the organism. It's about the life process. So the unicellular organisms are the one which is where all the life process are taking place in a single cell, and the multicellular organisms are the one where all the life process are taking place in a certain group or certain type of cells. For example, the eyes can see, kidneys can filter, where the blood can have the ability to exchange the gases and to carry the food and the waste material. So different cells are showing the different kind of life process which are coordinated with each other. So this is about the single cell organisms are the one which are categorized under unicellular organism, and which is showing the different functions like respiration, excretion, growth and reproduction and digestion, and also everything to be taken place in a single organism. Example, paramecium and the amoeba. And the next one is about the shape of the organism. So basically the shape of the organism, basically it's like the shape of the organism is correlated with the size of the shape of the organism is basically correlated with the function of the cell. So basically if you are seeing here the spherical shape and the biconcave shape. Okay, the spherical shape and the biconcave shape is the one which of the RBC is basically it is involved in the carrying the oxygen and carbon dioxide, and also basically carrying the food and the waste material. And coming to the spindle shaped muscle cell, the spindle shaped muscle cells are the one basically they are showing the similarity. So they are showing the similarity where they are having the slender and the long appearance is because of the tendency of their appearance. This tendency is because of they are showing the function of contraction and the relaxation. And coming to the nerve cell, the nerve cell or the having this shape because to carry forward the branched and also long and the branched structure of the nerve impulse is because of to carry the nerve impulse from one part of the from the ending part of one cell, that is one part of the cell, to the other part of the cell. That is because of the long and the okay, this is because of the long and the branched nerve cell. Okay, the basically the shape and the structure and appearance of the cell. The structure and appearance of the cell is correlated with the function of the cell. So function of the cell is the one, basically it is correlated with the structure, because the structure is the one which is have the full validation to perform a particular specific function of the cell. So coming to the size of the cell, basically the size of the cell, they will be ranging from the smallest cell, that is the cell which is meant to be very small, is of 0.1 to 0.5 micron meter. So 0.1 to 0.5 micron meter is the one which is basically about the size of the cell. So this size of the cell is comparable with the bacterial cell. And coming to the largest cell, basically it's about the length and the breadth. Okay, the length and the breadth of the organism is nothing but the egg of the ostrich, which is showing the different size of the cell. So according to size of the cell, that is the largest cell is nothing but 170 mm to the 130 mm. So this is the largest cell, that is egg of the ostrich. So basically the cell, when we are counting the size of the cell, it may be ranging from very small as like micron meter to the millimeter, that is mm. So when you are seeing, if it is not like the biggest organism like elephant and the whales are having all the cells in a larger portion. It's not like that. It's depending upon the structure and the function. So even the elephant can be bigger or the whale can be bigger, but they will also have the cells which are larger and variation in the size and the shape, and the smaller, that is variation in the size of the cell. So it's about depending upon the shape, size and the cells. When compared to the other like human beings, for example, the females are having the largest cell, that is the largest cell is the egg or the ovum, and the smaller cell is the sperm, that is the male gamete. So there is a very much variation. It's not like the larger organism is having the larger cell and the smaller organism is having the smaller cell. It's about the depending upon the structure and the function. So larger organism also may contain the minute cells which are performing a different kind of specific function. Now coming to the cell structure and the function, basically when you are discussing about the cell structure and the function, which is the next topic, here we can discuss that whatever the inorganic elements or the inorganic elements are combined together to form a biological cell, the cell level, and these cell which are performing the same function and same structure and the function, they are grouped together as a group of cells called as tissue. And this tissue which are performing the similar structure and the function, they are grouped under the different like organ. For example, if you are taking the cells or the nephron which are forming the kidney tissue, and this kidney tissue are joined together. So whatever the group of nephrons are forming a tissue, that is a kidney tissue, and this group of tissues are forming together called as kidney, that is the organ. And this organ, the kidney organs are joined together to form the with the urethra, they are joined together to form a organ system, that is the filtration system, that is renal system. And these systems which are joined together, digestive system, organ system, different organ system like digestive system, reproductive system and a filtration system, they are joined together to form a single organism. So basically the structure and cell is the one which is performing the structure and the function which is dealt in the different level of classes. Coming to the different parts of the cells, basically different parts of the cells are the one where we will discuss about the cell membrane. What is the cell membrane? If you are taking the boundary of the cell, okay, the boundary of the cell is nothing but the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. So the boundary of the cell is important to carve out the whatever the boundary from the external environment. So what is the external environment? In order to maintain away from the external environment, it is the cell membrane, the plasma membrane, which is basically maintaining the boundary of the cell. So basically it is about the boundary of the cell which is maintaining the layer of the cell. So it is the one where the exchange of gases will be taking place, and also exchange of material will be taking place between the internal environment and the external environment. And next coming the cytoplasm. So next coming to cytoplasm, the cytoplasm is the transparent liquid, the life liquid, the transparent liquid where all the cell organelles like nucleus, cell organelles are dwelling in the particular position. And this liquid, the living liquid which is surrounding the cell organelles and the nucleus is nothing but the cytoplasm, which is the fluid portion. So the fluid portion is the one which is surrounding the cell organelles and the nucleus. So, and next one is the cell wall. Basically the cell wall is very dedicated to the plant. For example, if you are seeing the appearance of the plant, mostly the plant cells will be appearing in the form of hexagonal or the pentagonal kind of appearance, where the external extra layer, whatever it is there, this extra layer is nothing but the cell wall which is present within the plant cell. And this cell is the one which is basically covering the cell membrane, and this extra cells are the one which are basically the extra layer is the one which is basically covering the plant membrane. So this extra layer is the one which is nothing but called as cell wall, and this cell wall is the one which is providing the strength and also stamina to the plant cell. Okay, strength and stamina. Okay, the strength and stamina of the plant cell is because of the cell wall. And coming to nucleus, basically the center portion which we are observing in the diagram, the central portion is called as nucleus. So the nucleus is the one which is very dense in the appearance. When it is strained with a chemical agent, it is the one which is taking extra pigment or extra chemical agent and appearing very dense in their appearance. And the nucleus is the one which is called as control house of the cell. So control house of the cell is nothing but the nucleus which is controlling all the cellular activity within the cell. So this is the nucleus is the one basically which is controlling all the cellular activity of the cell. And coming to the cell organelles, basically the cell organelles are the one which are present within the the cell organelles are the one which are basically present within the cytosol. So example for the cell organelles is the mitochondria, chloroplast. Okay, these are the one which are present within the present within the cytoplasm or the cytosol. So cell organelles are the one which are basically present within the cytoplasm. So whatever the cell organelles are, they are mitochondria and the chloroplast. So basically the mitochondria are the one which are involved in the respiration. Okay, and coming to the chloroplast, the chloroplast is the one which is involved in the photosynthesis. So basically the cell organelles are the one which are placed in the correct position within the cytoplasm is called as cell organelles. As example, the mitochondria which is performing the respiration, and the photosynthesis is performed by the chloroplast. So these are the different elements or different parts of the cell. So basically if you want to study about the cell, these are the different parts which are making the structural unit of the the structural unit of the cell. The structural unit of the cell is the one which is basically making the cell. So what are the structural unit of the cell? They are nothing but the cell membrane, cytoplasm, cell wall, nucleus and the cell organelle. So these are the making up a particular cell unit. So these are the structural parts. They are the structural parts which are performing the different function of a cell. They are the structural unit of the cell. So coming to the basically if you are discussing about the nucleus in depth, basically, so the nucleus is the one which is majorly consisting of a very special structures. Okay, it's very complicated and it is having the different structures. So basically this is So when you are discussing about the nucleus is the one which is very complicated, and it is called as control house of the cell or control center of the cell. So the nucleus is the one which is containing the nuclear membrane. Okay, nuclear membrane, and also it is consisting of nucleolus. Nucleolus is the dense part within the nucleus. So this is basically the nucleus, and within the nucleus the dense part is called as nucleolus, which is involved in the synthesis of the ribosomes. Okay, which is involved in the synthesis of the ribosome, that is nucleolus. Okay, the nucleus is consisting of the nuclear membrane, it is consisting of nucleolus, which is a synthesis part of the ribosome, and apart from this it is also containing the genetic material. Okay, this genetic material is nothing but called as DNA. Okay, the genetic material is present in the form of DNA. So the genetic material which is present within the nucleus is called as DNA. The DNA is the form of the genetic material, but it is condensed in the form of chromosomes. So the chromosomes are the one which are nothing but the condensed form of genetic material, that is in the form of DNA. So genetic material is the one which is appearing in the form of DNA in the nucleus, and it is appearing in the form of a very condensed pattern called as chromosomes. Apart from this there is a pore. Okay, apart from this there is a fourth element called as nuclear pore. Okay, this nuclear pore is the one which is basically involved in the entry and the exit of the nucleus. So whatever the entry of the molecule and exit of the molecule. Okay, for the entry and for the exit. For the entry of the molecule, for the exit of the molecule with the nucleus, for the communication of nucleus with the cytoplasm and with the entire cell, there should be an entry and exit of the there should be entry and also exit of the cell molecules or the particle from the nucleus into the cytoplasm, and from the cytoplasma into the nucleus. So this entry and the exit of the materials and the cell organelles which will be done between the nucleus and the cytoplasma of the cell. So when you are discussing about the DNA, that is the genetic material that is in the form of DNA, they are condensed in the form of chromosomes. So these are the one which are basically these are the ones which are consisting of the genes. So the genes are the one which are involved in developing a character, which are involved in controlling the activity within the cell in the form of proteins. These are the genes which are present in the form of genetic material within the chromosomes. So entire structure is basically present within the cytoplasm. Whatever the entire structure we discuss, entire nucleus, it is present within the cytoplasma of the cell. So what is basically different between the protoplasm? So protoplasm is the one where when we are seeing the nucleus, when you are seeing the cell, if the cell has been if the cell membrane has been degraded by the chemical agent, so whatever the cytoplasm, okay, the cytoplasm which is containing the cytoplasm, whatever the cytoplasm is there, this cytoplasm which is contained in nucleus, okay, this cytoplasm which is, okay, what is protoplasm? Basically the protoplasm is nothing but when you are degrading the cell membrane, that is the cell plasma membrane, and if you are obtaining a cell which is consisting of cytoplasm along with the nucleus, this kind of presence of the cell is called as protoplasm. Protoplasm is the one which is basically doesn't have any walls around this, and this cytoplasm along with the nucleus which is very highly unstable. So whatever the protoplasm is the one which is carrying the nucleus, cytoplasm and also cell organelles together. So basically what is vacuoles? Vacuoles are the one which are present only in the plant. So What is the function of the vacuole? It is involved in storing both the useful material and also pigments, which will give the color to the fruits and also leaves, and also the whatever the flowers are there. The pigmentation of these particular plant organs are done because of the vacuoles. They are involved in the storage, and also they are involved in the accumulation of the waste material. Basically, it's because of the nucleus. Okay, it's because of the vacuole, which is basically the vacuole is the one which is involved as a storage element, that is storage cell organelle, that is involved in storing the food materials. It is used in the storage of excess of materials like pigments and also waste materials. So basically it's about the vacuole which is covering the entire plant and apart from the nucleus. Okay, it's basically the vacuole which is performing the storage and the accumulation of the waste material, accumulation of the pigments, and also accumulation of the herbicides and the pesticides which are spraying on the plants. So basically they are present only in the plants to some extent in a very lower organism or lower eukaryotes. They are present, especially in case of yeast. So the vacuoles are the one which are termed as an under the cell organelles, which are single membrane. Okay, they are single membrane. They are termed under the as an cell organelle. So they are basically made up of single membrane, and they are the one which are maintaining the fluidity, or they are maintaining the proper storage of the cell. Apart from this, if the cell is very mature, if the plant cell is very mature, this vacuole will take off the entire plant cell for the only for the sake of storage of the material and also storage of the toxic and waste material which is accumulating within the plant cells. As the age is growing, the vacuole, the plant cells which are making the mature part of the plant, that is the mature plant cell, the vacuole will take the entire plant cytoplasm. It will occupy everything, including the nucleus also. It will be pushed to one side, and the main agenda of this vacuole is to take all the toxic and accumulating metals, the toxic metals, toxics, and everything, whatever the pesticides and fungicides which are taken by the plant as a part of absorption, those will be stored within the vacuole. And coming to the plastics, basically they are also only present in the plant. They are only present within the plant, and basically depending upon the function, these plastics can be divided into different kind of cell organelles. Basically, if it is a chloroplast, basically the chloroplast is the one where the chlorophyll is present. Okay, this is the pigment and this is the cell organelle. One of the kind of the plastid is the chloroplast, which is containing the pigment called as chlorophyll. So basically the function of the plastids are nothing but they impart the color to the different organs of the plant. For example, if it is a leaves and the younger stems, they will impart the green color, and apart from this they will also impart the colors that is done by means of chloroplast because of the chlorophyll. And if it is a fruits or if there are flowers, that colors of the flowers and the fruits are also given by means of other plastids called as chromoplastids. Chromo is nothing but the color. Okay, there are different colors are given by means of different chromoplasts. So finally we will be discussing about the comparison of the plant and animal cell. So when you are trying to compare with the plant cell with the animal cell, here the A is the one which is basically the plant cell, and the B is the one which is basically the animal cell. So what is major difference between the A and B is nothing but the absence of the cell wall. So whatever the cell wall is there, the cell wall is present within the plant cell, whereas it is absent in the animal cell. So apart from this, there are few elements which we can discuss here and there. The nucleus is present within the center of the animal cell, whereas it is present in the periphery, the side of the plant cell. And also the appearance of the vacuole, what we discussed just now, the appearance of the vacuole, the empty space of the plant cell, especially the mature plant cell, is consisting of the vacuoles, whereas the vacuoles are very minor and it is restricted only to the lower level of animals. And also the nucleus is the one which is basically it's peripheral in the plant cell and it's central in the animal cell. And also the whatever the transparent living fluid which is present within the within the animal cells and within the plant cell, that fluid is called as cytoplasm. So basically the similarities are like there is presence of vacuoles in all the plant cells and the few animal cells, and also nucleus in both the cells, and also cytoplasm. And the difference is that basically they are not containing the cell wall, the animal cells, and also the cell membrane is the one, basically it is involved in the covering the cell. So whatever the cell membrane is there, the cell membrane is exposed in case of animal cells, whereas the cell membrane is basically covered by means of cell wall, that is extra cell wall, that is the plant cell. So basically it's about the comparison of the plant and animal cells. Here in the tabular column, cell membrane is present in plant and animal cells. Cell walls are also cell wall is present in plant cell, not in the animal cells. Okay, from the diagram we can say that the nucleus is present in the plant cell and also in the animal cells. Coming to nuclear membrane, it is present both in the plant cell. Here you can see the boundary of the nucleus and also boundary of the nucleus both in the plant and the animal cell. So they are present. Coming to cytoplasm, this whatever the transparent liquid which is surrounding the nucleus and the cell organelles, which is inside the cell membrane, is nothing but called as cytoplasm. Okay, coming to plastids, basically the plastids are present in the plant cell, they are absent in the animal cell, for example chloroplast and the chromoplast. And coming to vacuoles, basically the vacuoles are the one which are basically present in the plant cell, and to some extent they may be present within the some lower animal cells. So this is the comparison of the plant and the animal cell. So basically now we dealt with each and every topic in detail of this particular chapter, that is chapter 8, the cell function, the structure and the functional unit of the organism. So basically the 8th chapter is the one where we discuss all this in detail, each and every topic. Now we will be going with the summarization of the chapter. So the 8th chapter summarization is about the cell structure and the function, where it starts with the discovery of the cell, and where the Robert Hooke microscope is the one which is having the breakthrough in understanding the basic structural appearance and also integrity of the basically each and every cells. And apart from this, the cells are the one which are having the cells are the one basically they are making up the basic structural unit of the unit of an organism is about the cells. And next one is about the organization, where we will be discussing about the cell number, especially if it's a multiple cells are coordinating or cooperating with each other, that is a multicellular organism. If the single cell is performing all the life functions, it is a single cell is called as unicellular. So apart from the cell number, we will be discussing about the shape of the cells. So basically the shape of the cells, there are n number of shapes are appearing. So basically it may be spherical RBC, it can be the spindle shaped muscle cell, and also branched and the long nerve cell. So basically it's about these cells which are performing different shapes, and the different shapes of the cells are because of performing the different functions of the cells. So coming to the size, basically the size is that the smallest cell is equivalent to bacteria, and the largest cell is the one which is equivalent to the egg of the ostrich. And next one is the one where we will be discussing about the cell structure and the function. Basically the cells are the one which are the building blocks of the tissue, organs, organ system and the organism. So what and these are the different this is the hierarchy of the arrangement of the cells. And coming to the parts of the cells, basically we will be discussing about the cell membrane, which is the boundary of the cell, cytoplasm, which is making about the fluid part of the cell, and the cell wall, which is an extra layer which is covering the entire cell membrane, is called as cell wall, that is of the plant cell. And also nucleus, which is basically involved in the which is a dense molecule which is present within the center of the cell, and also cell organelles which are present within the cytoplasm. So here we will be discussing in detail about the nucleus, that is a nuclear membrane, nucleolus, chromosomes and the genes which are present, which is a part of the nucleus. Apart from this, we also discuss with the about the vacuoles and the plastids. And while comparison of the plant and animal cells, basically we are comparing each and every part that is between the plant cells and the animal cells. So the comparison is between the different parts of the cells, where basically we are comparing the plant cells and animal in such a way that what elements are making the animal cell and what elements are making the plant cell. So this is about the summarization of the each and every topic of the of this chapter, that is basically the 8th chapter. So please share whatever the video we have been generated with your friends, like and subscribe to the channel, and also if you can able to correlate with each and every part of this video you have, so that you can have a better understanding with each and every part of this video, and also try to project yourself so that you can have a very better understanding. Whatever the topics we are explained, they are explained in terms of very depth and in-depth. They have been dealt with a precise depth of understanding the topic. So try to understand with the topic, and also thank you for listening with the video. Thank you very much.